Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Dang, where you get this car?
You need to join the union.
The union?
Absolutely. You can get 10 of these.
Union construction workers earn the highest wages with the best benefits and the most protection in the construction industry. Find your career in construction. Go to georgiaconstructioncareers.com and start your future today.
Good afternoon. Happy Friday Eve. Welcome back to another episode of Keeping It Real with Najeh Wilkins. Excited to be here. We got another jam-packed episode today. We're going to be talking to North Oconee head coach Rick Rasmussen. A little bit about the team. They got a big-time matchup tonight against North Hall, so we're going to talk about that matchup and that tough region that they play in. And then the second segment, we're going to bring on Discovery's defensive lineman who committed to Air Force last week on signing day. Talk a little bit to him about kind of how that relationship was able to kind of mesh. What he's excited for, and what's kind of his workout regimen now. I believe he also plays basketball too, so we're going to talk to him in our second segment, and then conclude with the top 10 headlines for the weekend that is headlined by a phenomenal story out of Sonoraville High School. Cayman Reynolds actually helped save a man from basically a fire when he was on his way to school. So that is the big headliner. I mean, outstanding story. Go to WSBTV.com and go get the latest on that. I thought that was just amazing. Driving to school, it was an accident. Seen a fellow, citizen just, truck was on fire. He ended up getting a hammer, and he ended up, busting loose and helping him get out of that. So I thought that was pretty cool being the hero there. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk to head coach for North Oconee. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir, Coach. I appreciate you coming on today. I'm super excited to talk to you and a little bit about your group. But I want to start with you. I mean, you've had a great, just career coach. You had 308 wins at your previous stop at Newton, numerous region coach of the years, class 7A coach of the years. What is the biggest thing you've learned being a coach and being able to perform at such a high level and kind of be able to get through to your, to your kids and be able to have that kind of profound impact?
Well, I appreciate that. I had great mentors when I first started out. Ron Bradley, the winningest coach in Georgia State history, was one of my mentors at Newton. Billy Hendricks, and they were longtime experienced coaches. And I was an assistant for 9 years, 7 at Newton. They took over and was head coach there for 14, and then 5 now. So, I mean, I'm in year 19 now as a head coach, and it seems like just yesterday, I fell into this, and God called me to be a coach. But I think the things I've learned the most is I can't do it without my family. I mean, my wife, Tiffany, and my family are rock stars, and they've put up with all the time I've spent with other people's kids. And I've had great assistant coaches and mentors. And then I think that the main thing is, working with our players and making sure that they're all in and totally committed. Like, we love basketball. This is what we do. And if you don't really love basketball, it doesn't really fit with us because we're expecting you to give your best every day and off season. But I think fundamentals and discipline are the keys. So if you get great buy-in, you teach kids to have the game, and you have a great culture of buy-in and selflessness, which is huge, and just working hard, then it doesn't really matter that much what your scheme is. It's not so much the X's and O's. It's really about the relationships and the culture that you build. And we've been really proud of the way we've been able to build that culture at North Oconee now here in year 5.
Yes, sir. And then, Coach, I want you to expound just a little bit on just the longevity. You said 19-plus years. You obviously talked about the sacrifices your family has to make. But for you, how do you not get burnt out? How do you not get tired? How do you just keep having that joy coming in every day and working with these kids?
Well, I mean, that makes me smile even just hearing you say that. I mean, we love what we do. I mean, I'm a competitor. I hate to lose more than I like to win. And I wouldn't want to do this and spend all the hours into it, and it's a lot of hours, if we didn't feel called to do it and it wasn't successful. So when you're doing something you love, and you're loving what you do, then it doesn't really seem like work. And it's fun to work with kids. That's really where I wanted to get into coaching. Love the relationships with kids. We've got great parents and great kids at North Oconee, and super supportive. And it's just fun to work with them and help their kids grow up to be young men, and hopefully one day be successful in the business world and husbands and fathers. Until to use basketball as a vehicle for that is just really exciting, and it's an honor and it's a pleasure to coach the young men in our program.
No doubt about it, Coach. And then going into this season, you guys have over 20 wins. You guys are one of the teams to beat out there in your classification. So 12-game winning streak, Coach. Just talk a little bit about what do you think has been going right for you guys, why you guys have been able to kind of be on this streak and play some really, really good high-level basketball at the right time.
We've really been pretty good the whole season. And I think we've gotten more and more confident and progressively better at maybe eliminating the little things that needed to be, cleaned up along the way. What's been really nice is we've had some really good film sessions here lately, correcting things, but we still were successful. We're on as you said, a 12-game winning streak, I think it is, and yet we're still growing and learning, and we still know there are things we can work on. And right now, I'm super proud of the way our kids have taken things seriously. We're grinding in practice. The practices are super competitive, and our film sessions are real. We tell the truth. We kind of model what we do after college programs, and the kids are kind of on a scholarship with us, and everything is taken really seriously, and they're totally bought in. This group is really, really committed, and they're exciting to work with.
No doubt about it, Coach. And then I want to ask you, just when did you know this team could potentially be good? You talked about how seriously they take it, how they kind of treat it as a college program, right? But when did you know this team was special? Was it in the off season? Was it coming into fall camp? When did you kind of know this team got a potential to really create some new heights?
Well, one of the things about this group is that, we've been with them as a coaching staff the entire times of their career. So this is year 5. And these kids that are seniors, we have 5 awesome seniors. They were in middle school when I first came from Newton to North Oconee. And so these kids, all they've really ever known is 20-win seasons plus. And we've had 3 region runner-ups in 4 years. We've lost in the region championship game 3 out of 4 years. Last year we had one of our key players get injured in the region semifinal. We thought we could have won the region last year. That's clearly one of our first goals this year. But we have 5 seniors totally committed. They've worked their way through our program. 3 of our seniors have, small school scholarship offers. And then we've got super talented freshmen and sophomore. We've got veteran good juniors. Our JV and C team went 14-1. Our freshman team went 9-0. We've got a great coaching staff. So I think all the pieces last year we were 23-7. We finished the regular season as the 1 seed, tied with Madison County. And then we had the injury in the region semifinal and went to the Sweet 16. I think this team is just even a year hungrier, and we want to go ahead and finish the deal. And our goal clearly is to win that first region title.
No doubt, Coach, and we can talk about that in just a little bit, but I want to ask you, Coach, if you can, just expound a little bit on the feeder program. You talked about how when you first came in, these guys were, in 8th grade. How is that program there at North Oconee, the feeder program? Do you look at those guys early? And talk a little bit about just the freshman team. You talked about how good they played, and the JV team as well. Talk about how that's been instrumental in you guys being able to, be in these big games and be able to play at a high level.
Yeah, our seniors are veterans. They know the expectation. They moved up through our freshman and JV season. And when they were in 8th grade, we went down and built relationships with them. And we've established a culture. We've got a great relationship we have 2 middle schools now that feed our school. And great coaches down there, Coach Lord, Coach Gibbons. And we've gotten to know them, and we've made kids excited from a young age about being future Titans. our varsity players mentor future Titans, and we've been down to the middle school games. We do off-season youth programs and train those kids. We do our summer youth camp, and now our seniors were in those feeder programs, and now they're seniors and everything's coming into place. So it's like a family atmosphere from elementary up. We've tried to create where kids who love basketball want to keep playing it. And one of the most exciting things that we have, and we have that now, is, we've already had several kids who can take their talents to the next level and play college basketball. So that's super exciting to see that come to fruition.
Exactly, Coach. And then I want to expound a little bit on some of these players that you got. I'm going to hit on a couple, but then I want you to talk about some underrated guys that have been having a big impact for you. I want to start with Justin Payne. What has he kind of meant to your team this year? What has he been able to do well? And what are some things you've been asking of him to kind of, when he's out there on the court, out there on the floor?
Justin's incredible. I mean, he's a perfect example of a microcosm of development and hard work. And I remember our first year here 5 years ago, he was Malcolm Bridge Middle School's point guard. That year he hurt his wrist and missed some of the games, but I was like, I love this kid. I can't wait for this kid to play, for us up at North Oconee. And then he was like a JV team MVP. He's gotten better. He played some his sophomore year varsity, but he's practiced with the varsity all 4 years because we knew what he could become. His junior year last year, he was really good. He was all region. And now, arguably, could have been named Region Player of the Year, honestly, with us being the 1 seed and having such a great year. He had 32 in the quarterfinal the other night, and has an offer to LaGrange College. But he's kind of the engine that makes us go. He and I have real conversations that'll help him get ready for college, and he's heeded our advice. And even at times when maybe kid wants to just go off and like shoot whenever he wants and all that, he's learned that the number one job of a point guard is whatever it takes for the team to win. The most important stat to a college coach is the winning factor. And Justin wants to win more than he wants to do his own thing. And that's when you're leading a team and you're an extension of the coach, you got to understand tempo and when to shoot, when not to shoot, when to set a teammate up, and all these different things. And he's the floor general. I mean, he's totally developed. He's one of the most improved players in our program. He's just peaking at the right time. He's super confident now, which he should be. I mean, he's 5'9", 5'10", and he's got 2 in-game dunks now, where everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, did that just happen?" He just dunked on Tuesday night, and I was like, "Yeah." I mean, I didn't even flinch. I expected it, and he dribbling around, popping 3 balls, dropping dimes, and he's a great on-ball defender. He's worked super hard at that, but he's electric. I mean, he's more college coaches need to open up their eyes and see how special he is. He's really been outstanding and been a great leader for us. He's also a great mentor to our younger players. They look up to him, and he gives them rides and stuff. And I mean, he's a great teammate, and I'm super proud of Justin.
No doubt, Coach. And before we keep talking about the team, I want to ask really quick, just your seniors, where are some of them signing, if they haven't already? If they have, just what were some of those places, and how does the kind of senior class look for just going on to the next level? What are some of those colleges some of your guys going to be going to?
Yeah, we have 3 seniors that start in Evan Montgomery, who has 4 college offers. Berry College is one of the ones he's maybe really considering, in Piedmont, Brevard, and Covenant. He's got some D2 interest for Emmanuel and another school in Alabama. He's the anchor of our defense as our starting center. He had 11 and 11, in the quarterfinal the other night, had 2 big putback dunks. He will compete in the state slam dunk contest again, hopefully like he did last year when he was runner-up. Wilson Sibley won it for us 2 and 3 years ago, 3 and 4 years ago. Yeah, Evan is really developed and worked hard. He actually did not make the middle school team in 8th grade, but we loved him, and we really thought he could have a lot of potential. He's just a skinny, kid, kind of filling his body out at the time. Now he's hit the weight room for 4 years, and he's a beast, dunking the ball and protecting the rim, and really done a great job for us. Bird Carter is a returning All-State player. He's a first-team All-Region guy. He and Justin Payne side by side. Bird is still considering what he might do. His faith is super important to him. He's got an offer from Covenant College. He may decide to do like a church missions trip this summer, but he's a great kid. Really skilled scorer as a combo guard. And then our other two seniors have already decided they want to go to UGA in Alabama, but they come off the bench and make an impact for us, Shep Thompson and Chase Scott. So really a great senior class. They're the winningest class in program history. All they've ever known is, I think, their worst season was 21-9. It's the worst season they've ever been a part of as a senior class. So, last year 23-7, and this year we're already at 23, and hopefully let's get some more. So, just excited. But I mean, they're the backbone of our program. They're the standard bearers, and they've been great mentors to our younger kids, and they also understand sacrifice. We can't play all of them every second. They've had to sacrifice and maybe take a lesser role than some of them wanted to at different times. And their character and their selflessness is crucial for our success. And we wouldn't be here without our seniors.
No doubt about it, Coach, and I appreciate you highlighting them. I wanted to especially talk about that because I know season's coming to a close. Obviously got region championship and then the state tournament's right there, so definitely wanted to get in some highlight. But tell me, Coach, a little bit about Kamari Brooks. I know he made second team all-region. Just what has he kind of meant to your team and just his impact?
Yeah, Kamari is, he is a awesome, humble, super nice kid off the court, and you wouldn't really know that he was such a beast on the court. I mean, he really his nickname is the Bulldog, and he's just super physical. He's a great defender because of his great hands and his athletic ability and his mobility for his size at about 6'4". But also he's had moments where he's been great on offense. So he's had some games of like 20 and 10, and he's also played through injuries. He's just super tough. When he's playing well, we can be really special, especially when he's hitting jump shots. He's had some games where he hit some threes and stuff. And he's probably going to be a Power 5 football player. He's a linebacker. And if he only played basketball, he easily could play college basketball, if he put more time in on it. But he already is talented and good at basketball, even when it really is probably the second, sport as far as his time is spent. But I mean, his impact he makes, he's one of those kids where he's good enough to just come out there after the football season ends and makes an impact right away because he's so talented. And then the great thing about him too is even though he's a sophomore, he started last year and averaged about 11 and 7. He's about 12 and 7 or so this year. But he's so selfless, and he listens. He's very smart. His basketball IQ is super high, and he pays attention. And like if other kids aren't listening, he'll call them out. Like he'll be like, no, that's not what Coach just said. No, we're doing this. He's a leader, in kind of a quiet way. But yeah, he's a really crucial to our success, and he's phenomenal.
No doubt about it, Coach. And then the last one we'll talk about, and then we're gonna throw it back to you just for any underrated players. But I know you mentioned him yesterday. You call him J Money, the freshman for you that's having a big time year. Just tell me about his game. I mean, Coach, sometimes it could be a learning curve, but him stepping in, having a big impact for you so far this year, I know has been nice to see in your program. Just being a freshman.
Yeah, he played middle school ball for us, and we were super excited about him. And then, when he came this year as a first-year ninth grader, I mean, right away, you asked earlier kind of when did I know this team could take it to another level? When we knew, he was going to be on our team. I nicknamed him J Money, Justin Wise, J Money right away because I just knew he was special. And he's a no-brainer Division I player, in my opinion. And I've had a lot of Division I players, including Ashton Higgins, Mr. Georgia basketball in 2018 at Newton. So, I kind of know what they look like. And Justin, to me, as long as he keeps working and stays humble, he's going to be a either a shooting point guard or a shooting guard at the next level. He's one of the top-rated combo guards in the state, and that's not by accident. So he's super special. He's already 6'3", 6'4". He's already had 4 in-game dunks as a freshman, and he's got a beautiful shooting stroke, high extension, very difficult to block, and then he's also long and athletic. Sometimes he'll maybe gamble too much or just play off of the fact that he's so athletic and maybe let his opponent get by him, and we've really done a good job to keep him disciplined and make sure he stays in front of his man, because he is so talented. Sometimes you can kind of get away with gambling, and kind of like Michael Jordan used to come off the ball and steal it and all. He's got that it factor, but he's already had some incredible blocks, way up above the rim, blocking people from behind and stuff. You can just see the talent is there. But the thing that's so special about him is he's humble. And that gives him a chance to really be special because, he doesn't feel like he's arrived. He's working. He's in the gym. He loves to get in the gym and shoot with Justin Payne. And they've really become buddies. And he loves to get in the gym and be a gym rat and get extra shots up. And, he's already had great games of multiple threes. And then when he's getting downhill and attacking the rim, he can finish with both hands. He's a great passer. He really sees the floor well. And I knew as soon as I knew he was coming here in 9th grade, I was like, you know what? He's going to start as a freshman. Kamari Brooks did the same thing last year. When you're that special, it's just obvious you want him on the floor. So, yeah, he is a no-brainer future Division I guard and really special kid. The best thing about him is he's got a great family. He's humble. His little brother is at one of our middle schools, Braden, and we look forward to having Braden as well. But, yeah, Justin's special. And again, back to our seniors, they're not jealous of these kids. They're excited, and we're a family. So we've got the 3 seniors and a sophomore and a freshman that start, and we have great chemistry. No one's jealous of anybody. Our reserves make a huge impact and come in, and it just fits. And if we don't have that trust for each other, we wouldn't be able to be successful.
No doubt about it, Coach. And then before we transition into kind of the games that you got on tap, just tell me, Coach, a little bit about just some guys that's been underrated. You mentioned about the chemistry that you have, 3 seniors, a sophomore, and a freshman starting. But who's some guys that's come off the bench and had that big impact for you, or just being able to know their role? I think a lot of times we see guys just want to score, but sometimes you're gonna need those guys to come in, give you those minutes, rebounding, blocking shots, hustling. Who's some of those guys for you?
Yeah, first name that comes to mind is Thrasher Wilkins. Thrasher's a junior. He transferred from Athens Christian, and is a great kid. He has come in and made a big impact. The whole team loves him. He plays legitimate minutes. I see him stepping into the starting role when our 3 seniors graduate immediately. He probably would start somewhere else, but he's a selfless kid, and he's gotten used to what we do now, and he's really firing on all cylinders. The other night, Bird was out with a slight injury, and Thrasher came in and started, and we didn't miss a beat. He's had some great games. He's an energizer. He plays super hard. He's sneaky athletic. He had a putback dunk opportunity, and he barely missed it. I mean, he's at 5'10", 5'11", maybe 6 feet. He's explosive. He shoots it well. He's a great passer. He's made an impact for us. Matthew Clausen is a junior guard who was our JV MVP last year, working up through our program. His older brother played for us. Matthew can shoot it, but he's an unselfish player. He's a willing passer. He's pretty long at about 6'2", 6'3". He can dunk it. Shep Thompson, our senior I mentioned earlier, comes off the bench. He's super efficient from 3. Caden Piper is a 6'6" junior. We've got a sophomore who's probably going to be our JV MVP, and Luke Lawson, who gets like a double-double every game in the JV game. Chase Scott, senior forward, Brody Taylor, junior forward. Our team is deep, but most importantly, unselfish and humble. And again, because we have so many pieces, a lot of kids have maybe had to settle for a lesser role. But if they don't do that, we can't be successful. But they're ready when we call on them, and it just makes our team that much more dynamic.
No doubt about it, Coach. A couple more, I'll let you get out of here. I want to ask a little bit about just the competitive region you played in. You've pretty much won every game. You had a tough loss to Sanker, but just talk about playing in here with Madison County. Obviously, I want to ask you about Walnut Grove, too, and such a great team that they have. How has that kind of just formulated you guys and really helped as we hit this kind of home stretch?
Yeah, our region, with the South sub-region of us, Seconder, Walnut Grove, Madison County, Cedar Shoals, we've had 4 of the 5 teams ranked in the top 10 this year. And then the other side with North Hall still being the one team alive, it's a great basketball region. It's not as good as some of the other sports, but in basketball, it's really a tough region. And we were just one of many at the beginning of the year. We've kind of separated ourselves. As you mentioned, the one loss, we're 13-1 is what we finished. One loss at Seconder, and then we beat them by 25 the second time at home. So really dominated the region. Yeah, it's been great. It's been good for us. It's made us battle tested. We purposely played like Lambert, Mount Pisgah, some other tough teams. We went and played some national teams in Charleston during the Christmas break. So we've had a really hard schedule, but we've done well with that, and it's been really good at getting us ready for now the region tournament and the state tournament next week.
No doubt about it, Coach. And then I want to ask you about the matchup against North Hall you got tonight. What are you looking forward to in that matchup, and what does your team need to do to kind of punch that ticket and give you guys another opportunity and be able to kind of make some history and win that first ever region championship?
Yeah, North Hall, you got to give them credit. I mean, they upset Madison County, and on a given night, obviously that they're as good as a top 10 team in the state. I think Madison was still ranked 8th at the time of the loss. Seconder still ranked 7th. So we've got to be ready to play against North Hall, and then the winner of Seconder and Walnut Grove, hopefully for us in the final tomorrow night. So North Hall likes to pressure. They've got multiple kids who love to shoot the 3 ball. And so in that case, we've got to make sure we contest early and rebound really well. And then with the fact that they pressure, we've got really good guards, which is one of the keys there. But we've got to make sure that we're on our game and able to break the press and make them pay for gambling.
No doubt. And last question, Coach. I want to ask you, you've been in this game for a while. Like I said, I consider you a basketball savant, 19-plus years. What's the biggest change you've seen over that time frame that you've been coaching, and how have you just been able to adapt to it and still been successful? I think technology is one of the biggest things. When I first started coaching as an assistant at Newton, the game was some big bulky camera. There was no NFHS, no huddle, no crossover or whatever teams use. And, then you watch film a little bit, but you didn't really have like stat breakdowns. And most of what you did was live stats where you'd write down what you think happened and what you think you saw, but you couldn't verify it on film. Then the games were on DVD, and you record them and then burn them onto a DVD and we'd watch film. But now, we've got huddle. So I think the biggest thing now is, again, it's like a college program. Every shot, every assist, every travel, everything is on film. And, we watch the film and go through it. So we've got great statistics to talk about in film sessions. And, it's real. I mean, everything that happens is there, and we've got it, and that's a big element to it. You can look at teams' tendencies and different things. And I always like, when I scout somebody, I always like to make a shot chart live if I'm in a gym. But you can just watch teams' tendencies and record those things and then prepare yourself for matchups by going against those things. So I just think technology's made a difference, and I think we do a good job in our program of getting the kids ready for the next level. When everybody's stats are going to be out there, and the other team's going to know your tendencies when you play them and all, and so you're going to have to adjust and be versatile. And so I think technology is one of the biggest things. The other things are just kids. The relationships with kids are different. I mean, I think we know more about kids than we used to. Maybe we certainly we've got a great relationship with the families here at North Oconee, and we're spend so much time with their kids that it really is a family atmosphere. And so, we know them really well. We eat with them.
We train with them. We get together and do summer camps. The summer camps are a bigger deal now. Team camps, the NCAA camp, which we'll go to at Lake Point again, and probably go to Auburn and Georgia and these places and let our kids get exposure. But I think just the way everything is just organized, it's so much of a bigger deal. And then of course, finally, social media. You can get so much more exposure for your kids. I think we do a good job of that, of letting people know about our kids and featuring their videos and their highlights and those things. And we really try to market our kids well for college coaches in the next level.
No doubt about it, Coach. Well, I want to say thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure and honor talking to you. And good luck tonight and good luck in the region tournament. Go make some history, Coach.
I appreciate it, man. That's the plan. Thank you so much. God bless.
God bless. Yes, sir. All right, guys. So there goes head coach of North Oconee, Coach Rick Rasmussen. I really enjoyed talking to him. I thought he had some really good takes just about his team and just about, how the game has changed. And appreciate him coming on, just talk a little bit about the Titans. And they're going to be a team to watch. Like I said, they got a game tonight against North Hall. So good luck to them. And I think the game to really watch is, when they beat them, they got to play against potentially, if they win, to Walnut Grove. Walnut Grove is a underrated team. They started the season 6-0. We're going to talk about them a little bit later, but that's going to be an intriguing matchup. But we're going to take one quick short break and then be on the other side with our second guest.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off. Safety violation. Unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
All right, guys, back from the break. Excited to talk to Discovery defensive lineman. I believe he also plays basketball, Muhammad Alcine. I believe he is ready. Shout out to him as well. He also signed officially with Air Force. So great job by him. We got to see him a little bit for our Georgia High School Media Day, and he had a really, really great year for Discovery. So can't wait to talk to him. Oh, looks like Craig's still trying to get him. Yep. So one moment, we're gonna bring him on in just a second, but had a great year. It was pretty fun to talk to him a little bit, and he'll be ready in just a moment. But really enjoyed the interview we just had with North Oconee coach. It was a lot of fun, but we also got Tell the Tapes today too. Forgot to mention that real quick while we're waiting. Mason Townsend of Prince Avenue Christian. We're gonna talk about him after we do this interview, and then we'll talk about Jayce Sanker of South Paulding. Break both of those down as well. If you go to the box, Craig, go to second guess, it should come on. Yep.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
All right, guys, welcome back. Sorry for the technical difficulty, trying to figure it out, but should be able to have on Muhammad Alcine now. Let's see if we can bring him on. What's going on, man? How you doing?
What's up? How are you?
I'm good, man. I apologize for the technical difficulty, man. We're trying to bring you on, but we was having a little bit of issue, man. But I want to give congratulations, man. I know you had a big time year. Just kind of recap your senior year, man. What you enjoyed about it? Just talk about practice, going with your teammates. How was just your senior year?
Thank you very much first and foremost for having me. And then, yeah, but senior it was fun. We didn't win as many games as we wanted to. That was our main goal, to win games and make a statement. But just to be able to finish out my high school career where I started at and where everybody first believed in me at was something big for me. and to get to do it with a whole new coaching staff and with the young team, to be able to put my imprint on the school with freshmen who'll be there for another 4 years when I come back, get to see them grow. And practicing with guys like that, you practice against young guys, they're hungry all the time, so it makes you hungrier, and then you get in a role where they asking you questions and you're answering questions, and you become like a mentor, a big brother to guys that you wouldn't expect. You're running all the time, getting in trouble together, so you build a close bond through all the ups and downs of the season.
No doubt about it. And tell me a little bit just about the new coach staff coming in. You could have ran and went to another school, but you decided to stick it out. What was those first initial meetings like with the new coaching staff? They were like, hey, we're going to kind of need you to be our leader. What was that kind of like?
So yeah, once they named our new coaching staff, I reached out to the new head coach and told him I was going to be here if he needed anything, for me to be the middleman between him and the players. And they just asked me to be the leader for the team, be the vocal leader and a physical leader in my play and all that. So I tried to take it on and embody it all, and just try to be what they wanted the embodiment of Discovery High School to be every game, in the school, in the classroom. Try to be the role model tight end for us and all our guys.
No doubt about it. And then you talked about being the kind of the vocal leader. Is that kind of natural for you, Muhammad, or did that kind of you naturally grew into that? Or like kind of how does that go? Because sometimes you got guys they just want to just go play, right? They just want to let their film do the talking, let their play do the talking. Are you a natural leader, or do you like to kind of let your play do the talking, or both?
Yeah, I would say I'm a natural leader. Growing up, my parents always told us don't be followers. So we all had our own different personalities about it, but we're all leaders. And just I didn't want to, if something went wrong, I wanted to be the person to blame. I don't want to have that fault on anybody else. So if I felt like something wasn't successful, I want to be the reason why. I don't want anybody else to be the reason why. I want to be control of it. So being a leader was like, what can I do to help us overall and push us to be the best we can? Even if we didn't reach that point, I know that was my intention, and no one can tell you wrong about your own intention.
No doubt about it. And then if you can, Muhammad, just expound a little bit on the relationship you had with your parents. I see your dad, he's always retweeting your tape out there. He's always trying to get you more exposure. Just talk about the impact he's had on your life, and just him being able to kind of get you out there more to coaches, and just kind of being able to put you more on a platform as well.
Yeah, I would say my dad's my biggest recruiter. He puts everything out there. Any workout is recorded, any training session. He tries, because that's what a lot of recruiting is nowadays for guys who don't have the platform at the school, or schools are newer. That social media is your outlet, and I think that was a big thing for me, because that's why I started reaching out to a lot of coaches. And my dad's been in my life my whole life, so I don't know what I would do without him. He's been at everywhere, even before I was playing sports. He's yelling at spelling bees and math bees and things like that. So he's always been the biggest fan for everything.
No doubt. And then if you can say, just from your experience, right, Muhammad, walk me through your shoes. What would you just tell other players, like they're coming in, it's a newer program at Discovery, right? You guys are still trying to figure different things out, but you implemented those seeds in, for those kids. What would you just tell them, like, hey, you need to do this. This is the right way to kind of look at stuff, and just being able to kind of give themselves exposures, but not always, going out there and going above and beyond to kind of get it right. But what would you tell them?
One, always handle your classwork. You handle your grades. That's the first. Anytime you talk to a college coach, the first thing they ask you, can I see your transcripts? And if your transcripts don't look right, then that's it. Like, you're done. The conversation's over. And then handle your classroom. Know yourself. Like, don't try to overstep. Know where you're at, or know where you're at with yourself right now. Sometimes everybody's not built to go to Alabama, but you're gonna go somewhere if you play within your range of yourself. Handle your weight room. Make sure you lift hard and stay focused. And it's a grind. It's a long process. Things that go up and down within the recruiting process. You may not hear from people for a long time, and people pop right back up. So you just gotta stay grounded and stay humble within everything. And know it's a long process. Some kids don't get that offer till 3-4 days before signing day, and then that's the right offer. Because you may get 45 offers. You can only go to one school. So just stay down, stay grounded. And don't look at everybody else's success. There are kids who are gonna pop off in the 10th grade freshman year, and pop off with 20 D1 offers. But can they sustain that for the next 2 years of high school for them to keep that? And are you gonna try to chase the clout of it all, or are you just trying to be the best version of yourself?
You hit the nail on the head for me, and I think a lot of kids, they get lost in that. And then just from your shoes, if you had to say, Muhammad, talk just a little bit about just why for so many kids is it D1 or bust? Like you just said, you can go to a school and go perform and eventually even transfer. You got the big transfer portal now. Why do you think so many kids are so infatuated with D1 or bust?
I think it's more so like a stigma that you hear. Like everybody wants to go D1, but a lot of times the things that you get provided at D1 school, you can get them at other schools. You can get a good education. You can play really good football. There's good football all throughout the country. So, I mean, I don't think you, of course, as a competitor, you want to play at the highest level, but sometimes reality sets in and some things you can't control. So you have to take what's best for you. And sometimes that isn't a Division I scholarship. That's not playing a Division, or that's maybe not taking a lower level scholarship and betting on yourself to go play at the higher level school because you know who you are. But it's more so like knowing yourself and just knowing your worth and knowing what you want to get out of it. Some kids don't want to play pro. Some kids just want a good education, and all of that plays in factor. Everyone's situation is unique throughout this whole recruiting process, and I would say a lot of people need to think about that.
No doubt about it. And then I want to ask you just, this year, just kind of going through this year, what was your favorite just road trip you took with your team? Being able to kind of go on the road, like you said, forming those relationships with them. What was the most fun trip you guys took just on the road that you can always remember?
It would probably be the game where we played Stone Mountain. So, and before, I didn't even know DeKalb County schools didn't have fields at the high school. So, like a couple of days before the game, we're like, where are we playing at? They're like, they don't have a stadium at the school. I'm like, what? They don't have a stadium at the school? Like, where are we playing at a park? It was like, yeah, we pulled up in the bus and we parked on the gravel. But it was just that game was fun. That was our only game we won actually the year. So it was like the energy from it and seeing guys who haven't won anything yet, see them experience the win of joy, like the joy of winning a game. So you hope that embeds in them. So now when you're losing games, you're like, okay, I want to get back to that feeling. It gives you another drive to get to it. But it was a fun game. Bus ride back was fun.
No doubt about it, man. And then I want to ask this, from this season or just in general, man, what is your favorite pass rush move? Do you like to do the swim? Do you like to use the finesse? Do you like to kind of blow them off the edge? What's kind of your favorite pass rush move if you had to say?
I would really want to say just regular speed, just get off. But I'll probably say a club or the duck. That's what my trainer, Coach Lane, calls it. He calls it the gooseneck. You gooseneck the forearm and you just pull it off. So it's essentially like a club arm over it.
And then talk about that move. How do you kind of perfect that to be able to kind of use that in the game and be successful with it? I know it requires a lot of work and training. Just talk a little bit about that.
A lot of it is you got to make it muscle memory. And then playing as a pass rusher, it's not just running in circles. Like it's a chess game. You want to set up your next move with your previous move. So if you killing them with speed, they're gonna start oversetting. So now once they start oversetting, you got your bull, you got your long arm, you got your hump move. You can get it all off, but it's like you got to train for it. You work, you got to repeat it over and over and over. And hand placement is always important. Leverage, having good bend, not standing straight up. So it's all muscle memory of doing it over and over and over. And you can never be too perfect with a pass rush move because the offensive lineman can always do something to counter. So for every counter, you need a counter. So that's why you work on your hands and your feet and your eyes.
No doubt about it. And then I want to ask you, man, talk about just the relationship you were able to build with Air Force, right? That's the school you're going to now. What was that like? Talk me through the relationship you built with the defensive line coach, the defensive coordinator, and kind of how do they see you fit into their program?
Yeah, Coach Means and Coach Willow are really great. I talk to them a lot. Coach Means, one who initially offered me when he came up to the school. It was one of my later offers, but I just feel like it was the right timing for everything. They've developed defensive linemen. Bo Richter, he had a great bowl game against James Madison this year. Their plan for their edge rushers is develop them, and that's a key thing I want to be able to develop. I've only played 2 years of football, so going into my third year, which would be my freshman year of college, I wanted to go somewhere where I can develop and I can work on myself have a definitive role. Where they told me how they wanted to train me, how they wanted to work me out, how they saw me in the next 3 to 4 years, and it wasn't just we're gonna plug you here and we're gonna see how you do. It was more so like we're gonna put you here or here, and we're gonna work you, and whichever one comes out best for you is what's gonna be best for us. And Coach Nord came by the house and had a great conversation with my parents and I, and it was just everything felt genuine, and it was more than just about football. It was about my life after football, and I wanted to be successful after football. And they preach that like you're going to be successful after football coming here, and that's really like tip the cap to.
No doubt about it. And then, I want to ask, okay, so now what is the plan? Okay, so we are in February, mid-February, about to hit March. So when do you officially leave for the Air Force program? Kind of how does that kind of look now, and what's your kind of training regimen like?
So Godwin, going through the rest of the process with them, I'll be leaving in July. And then right now it's eating, working out, make sure I'm getting good sleep, restarting on the lifting program, trying to get myself big, strong while keeping my mobility, working off any nicks coming off basketball, putting that weight back on from all the up and down of basketball, and just being a better athlete, and then just working on technique. Want to be the most technically sound person I can be before I leave, and then build off of that, and watch a lot more film on not players just beside myself, on other people that you can always learn from. Film breakdown, especially with the draft round, film breakdown is everywhere. So you see guys you may not have ever seen play, and you got a 35 film breakdown, and you can pick up a lot of good things from it.
No doubt about it. That is very, very crucial. And you mentioned about kind of how, the school has had the impact on you, what you liked about it, and the coaching staff. So, now, obviously you're in school. Are you still playing another sport? I know you played multiple sports at Discovery. Or are you just kind of trying to get back into the fold with the training?
Our football coach he's on my tail about coming back and throwing. I threw a little bit in track and field last year, so I think I'm gonna give it one more go, try to get the sectionals and state. But besides that, it's really just football, honestly. And then track is, running, getting more explosive. So that's another added part of just developing as it goes on. But no other sports, no AAU, none of that. Just really school football, and then just getting better every day.
So you're just locking in.
Yes.
Okay, 100%, man. Well, a couple more. I'll let you get out of here, man. One I wanted to ask. Just talk a little bit about. Just what was your favorite memory, man? Not from necessarily varsity, but just playing the sport of football. What is one you're going to just always cherish playing the sport, whether it's winning the championship, making a big stop? What was that favorite memory for you?
So my football memories are short-lived. I started about a lot of it is from build relationships and just have fun, like not even with football, like in the locker room making jokes, or after on a Waffle House and joking around and playing around in the parking lot, stuff like that. Things that you actually remember. Like, because sometimes you won't remember every play of a game, but that's something that's going to be burned in there, guys, for forever. You always have those memories. So I'll probably say after games, after like homecoming game, going to Waffle House, talking about the game and making jokes and things like that.
Got you. Well, now I want you to just give me just a kind of an inside look into kind of just the Discovery program, right? I feel like a lot of people don't know about it, but you lived it every day. What was that like? Kind of, you mentioned about with the new coaching staff and having that leadership, but what was it like on the day-to-day? Like kind of how did that look like, with practice and the film study? And as you said, sometimes when you're losing, you can have kids that just check out. But, you stay locked in the whole time. Just talk a little bit about that and what Discovery's trying to build in Lawrenceville.
Yeah, since we've opened up with Coach Hill and his former coaching staff, because I've gotten to experience both. So I feel the new staff is just picking up where he left off. You go to school, you have your team lift period. So you lift your lift period. Then after school, in season after school, we would have sometimes you do a little sprint conditioning before practice, film, and then team meetings, and you were out on practice. And then the summers and stuff, it's more just like development, your body, your mind, getting in the playbook a little more. So you come in the mornings, you eat breakfast there. You go to your team, you go to your side of the ball meeting. Then we split up. You got your weight training, you got speed and conditioning on the field, and then you swap, and then you come back after you've done both stations. The pad practice, 7-on-7, stuff like that. But I think it's a newer school, so a lot of people kind of like glance over it. With Central Gwinnett being right over there, they had a history of being good, so a lot of people just glance over it. But a lot of people like overlook that. And guys like Jay Hawkins, two dudes who are playing powerful, essentially power now, and then guy JJ who went to Presbyterian. You have a lot of guys with high talent that people don't really think of because it's a newer school, and that's something we wanted to change with guys coming out. And me specifically, I wanted college coaches and people, not even just college coaches, just people outside to know like there's Discovery High School. Me knowing that I have a younger sibling coming up, I want him to know like, okay, I can come here and I can be successful and win football games.
No doubt about it, man. And you definitely let your impact there. And I know you're going to be coming back. But just talk a little bit about, the kind of final question, who's the toughest opponent you've ever went against? Not necessarily the team, but just one-on-one offensive tackle, you and him, or even at the guard spot. Who's the toughest player you just matched up against in your career?
As a competitor, I honestly don't think any of them could have blocked me. But as a whole unit, I would probably say Norcross. Norcross offensive line unit, they play really, really strong, small splits, so they play really close together, really big guys, not so much tall, but wide and thick and strong. So once they got that first punch on you, it's kind of like now you're fighting. And then the offensive tackle from Duluth, I forgot his name, but big guy, power file offers, strong hands. I was like, okay, I got to play a little more speed, play a little more leverage in him. But yeah, those are probably the two biggest ones.
No doubt about it. Well, Muhammad, I appreciate you taking your time out your day, man, to kind of come on the podcast, come on the show, and just give your experience, man. I know Gwinnett is off the next 2 days, so I just really appreciate your time, man. Good luck in your college endeavors, and congrats on going to Air Force, and just really appreciate you taking the time to come on today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, there goes Muhammad Alcine. You can watch him at Air Force. Appreciate him coming on the show, just talking a little about his experience. Like I said, playing for a school that's not really that known yet, but he talked about a little bit of his experience and how he's been able to kind of, be that vocal leader for those kids and setting that foundation for, a program that is, you know how it is, being a young program. And I think Craig brings up good points when he talks about North Oconee. I remember them kind of starting and how it was for them, and then now they've kind of become that powerhouse, a team you got to look for every single year in that region and just their playoff run. So, that could potentially be Discovery 2. It's going to take time, but if you got the right coaching, you got the right culture, got the right program, definitely can work out for you. But we're going to take one more quick break and be back on the other side with Tell of the Tape or film breakdowns.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off. Safety violation. Unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
All right, welcome back. So we are going to be looking in the trenches for the Tell the Tape this week. A couple guys sent me some more films, so shout out to you guys. Mason Townsend of Prince Avenue Christian. You get to see him in the Corky Kell Classic this year. And then obviously Jayce Sanker as well. Two guys we're going to take a good look at. We're going to start with Mason Townsend of Prince Ave. I think he has a really polished game. I'm going to give my standouts a little bit later, but you're just going to see him on some of these plays, just finishing his blocks. I really like what he's able to do, man. And he really makes it go. And the reason why, Aaron Fowler had such a great season, I mean, he's one of them, and them having an outstanding offensive line. So without further ado, let's roll the tape. That's the whole thing. Interesting. All right, so we'll go from here. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna wait on Mason. We're gonna go to Jayce real quick as you try to edit that. Go ahead and bring him on as well. All right, so here he is at the left tackle. Right here, you're gonna see a screen play. It's a good job right here, just sealing the edge right there, mauling the defender, getting him out of the play. I'll show you. So watch the left tackle, one-on-one right here. Does a good job, keeping him out the play, and then finishes the block. Great job right there. And then here he is right here. Does a good job, getting the middle linebacker, completely Xing him out of the play. Love that right there. And then, boom, here he is. So once he gets his hands on you, tough to kind of get it off. Does a great job right there yet again, just finishing that block. And then right here, same thing. It's a good job just pulling that defender down, completely negating him out of the play. And then here's his movement. Boom, good job right there, finishing the block. Here he is, left, just, good job. See him kind of be able to push him down. So it was the reason I slowed this one down. If you look at it initially, he does a really good job of getting his hands on him and completely negating him out of the play. So here he is right here. So 1, 2, it's 3, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. But right there, he kind of lets him go. Obviously, it doesn't affect the quarterback, but I think completely finishing on that play. Just my only critique there. But overall, great job, giving his quarterback time to throw. Here he is against Gainesville. Same thing. They got great edge rushers. Does a good job. You can see him finishing the block right there. His quarterback goes down, but was not his fault. Does a good job of just, completely negating him out of the play. And then same thing right here. Does a good job mauling him down. As the quarterback escapes to the left. And then same thing right here. Just does a good job of, being able to kind of get him out of the play. So here he is, right here, boom. Good job of using his hands and not letting the defender get to the quarterback. Love that right there. Boom, so here we go, a little bit of speed. Look at him go, finish him completely out of the play. Phenomenal yet again. Absolutely love that. All right, so here he is again. You're going to see a little bit of a pressure overload on the left-hand side. Does a good job getting up there in the middle. He gets a loss on the play, but does a good job of, getting there and making a good block. So, really like his game. I think it's strong potential. He's a great blocker on the edge, really good strength. And just the only things I have to say, just, on that one play, just continue to finish the block. But I think he has definitely a bright future with them. And I think just, being able to pose his will, like he does a good job. Once he locks on, you're not really moving anywhere. But being able to kind of push him down and finish the block. But that's my thoughts on this tape. We're going to move to the final segment of the show, just the top 10 headlines, and keep it rolling and then close it out. All right, so at number 1, going to go with, as I mentioned at the top, Cayman Reynolds from Sonoraville saved him in the fire. Thought it was an outstanding story. Wanted to really give him a shout-out for just his bravery. Don't see stories like this every day, but, he was on his way to school, and then he noticed the truck flipped over onto the side, started to catch fire, and then he noticed someone was still inside the truck, and then, he rushed to the vehicle. He kind of spoke with the driver, tried to help him out, went in there and ended up getting something from the driver's toolbox, smashed the window, and pulled out the man out of the car to safety. So I thought that was a really incredible story for Sonoraville. Just does a good job of, you don't see all the time see these type of stories, but being able to see just a kid who's on his way to school, all-region type of tight end, has Power 5 offers, and be able to just, help out somebody assisting on the street, I think is really incredible. So a special shout-out to him. I thought that was pretty cool. And then at number 2, the All-State football list came out. This is basically from the coaches. I thought it was pretty cool. You can go look at the full list. I just wanted to highlight some of the players on there that ended up making being all player of the year. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Give me one sec. All right, so here it is. See it. So this was posted by Georgia High School Football Daily. I thought it was cool. Some of these offensive player of the year. So we'll go through each classification real quick. But offensive player of the year for 7A was Jeremy Heklinski. Defensive player of the year was Trajan Greco. That was up north. In the south, they had offensive player of the year. They had Julian Lewis. Defensive player of the year, Eric Brantley Jr. from Valdosta. And then 6A in the north, offensive player of the year, James Johnson. He's going to be one to watch this next season. Of Douglas County, and defensive player of the year, Joe Wilkinson of Rome. South, offensive player of the year, they had Ousmane Kroma. I got to see him in his incredible game on that strained calf this past season. Defensively, they had defensive player of the year, Luke Harpering from Marist. 5A, offensive player of the year was Vincent Berry from Creekside. Defensive player of the year was Sammy Brown. In the South, offensive player of the year, they had Fred Brown. Defensive player of the year was Miguel Sevilla from Harris County. In the North, offensive player of the year was Jaden Scott. Defensive player of the year was Brooks Thompson from North Oconee. For a South, they had Coulter Jen, who was accepted a preferred walk-on, to Georgia. And then defensive player of the year was Wilkes Albert of Benedictine. 3A North offensive player of the year was E.J. Colson, who's now at UCF of Cedar Grove. And then defensive player of the year was Aiden Butts of Stevens County. 3A South, Jake Merklinger, offensive player of the year from Calvary Day. Defensive player of the year was Jacoby Jones and Mary Parsons. And then 2A North, you had Jaden Ball, really outstanding player, was going to Florida from Columbia High School, offensive player of the year. Defensive player of the year was Brent Washington of Rockmart. And then 2A offensive player of the year, Kaden McGatha in the South from Pierce County. And then defensive player of the year, Carson Sloan, both were outstanding in their state championship game and led their team to victory. And then in the Class A Division I, North was Prince Avenue Christian quarterback Aaron Philo, who broke so many records in his tenure there. And the defensive player of the year was Jemiah Mintz of Commerce. South offensive player of the year was DeMello Jones of Swainsboro. Defensive player of the year was Tanner Ennis, of Bryan County. In Class A Division II, offensive player of the year was Jay Kanazwa of Schley County. And then defensive player of the year was Dylan McGrin. And then in the South was Jeremy Bell, who also accepted a preferred walk-on to Georgia. And then defensive player of the year was Quellick Woodham of Dooley County. So full list, go check it out. You can go to Georgia High School Football Daily on Twitter. They have the full list on there. But that's some of the players of the year, so I wanted to give a special shout out there. All right, number 3, Georgia Basketball Coaches Association. Junior and Senior All-Star Game is March 22nd and 23rd at Gateway Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. So go check that out. Pretty cool event they put on every single year after the season concludes for some of these players. Kind of almost for the seniors, the last hoorah. Play last time in high school. I think it's pretty cool. And then the juniors kind of be able to be celebrated in that kind of way. So shout out to them. All right, number 4. Exciting news for Thomas County Central defensive coordinator Cam Clark. He's been instrumental in one of the best defenses in 6A. They won it all this year, 15-0 for Thomas County Central. We were on TV against Marist in the playoff game, and he will be joining the new Duke staff that will be there. So I thought that was pretty cool. Their head coach Justin Rogers says he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the state, and as you can see, he is moving on to great ventures, and I think that's super cool. Kind of go from the high school ranks straight to the college ranks. I thought was super cool. So wanted to give him a special shout out. All right, the next, Kyle Vaca also was on the All-State team for GACA in 23. I thought that was a pretty cool honor for him. What he was able to accomplish coming over from Johns Creek to Kell. I thought he was an electric receiver. He ended up winning Offensive Player of the Game and MVP when we had them on for our Hall of Fame game. So I thought that was super cool. But yeah, he's at Eastern Kentucky now, and he's all-region selection this past year. So special shout out to him, and just kind of a last kind of great accolade or honor. You were very fun to watch this year, man. So it's a special shout out to you Can't wait to see what you do on the next level. All right, and then number 6, they came up short last night against Peachtree Ridge, but just a shout out to Norcross, what they were able to kind of endure this past year, battle through some things, but they were just able to kind of be consistent, steady. And you seen that. They went and were able to get the 2 seed. They fell a little bit short, 68-65 to Peachtree Ridge, but with so many new pieces there and still being able to make the playoffs for the 24th straight time and then getting the 2 seed, being able to host the first round playoff game, I thought was great. And then shout out to all region players that was revealed today. Tobia Jokwu, Casey Williams, Jerron Salisbury, and the defense, first team all defense was A.J. Watkins. So special shout out to them and what they're able to do. And they could be one of those teams that'll be interesting to watch come postseason time. All right, number 7, Rabun Gap offensive lineman analysis is top 10 schools. Heavily coveted player here in Georgia, Justin Hassenhuddle. He named 10 schools: Clemson, Penn State, Michigan, Florida State, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Georgia Tech, USC, Miami as some of his top schools. So he'll be one to watch. As you guys know, they have another great prospect, Marshall Pritchett, who's also very, very good. So some top players there at Rabun Gap. He announced his top 10 yesterday, so I thought that was some pretty cool news. And then at number 8, shout out to Marcus Smith. He was down to 3-star this past week, plays for Walnut Grove. I thought this was so cool because it's a name I kept seeing on the Twitter sphere or on X, on Instagram. I think his trajectory is pretty cool, what he's been able to do. He's been very fun to watch. He's at 1,100 points, 400 assists, 380 steals. So I think what he's been able to do has been magnificent. No major offers yet, but a name that I think could definitely blow up this year, especially on the spring circuits. That's where you see a lot of guys start to kind of gain that traction. You go look at Tyler Jordan as an example of Shiloh, 4-star player now on all major platforms. Wasn't really known last season, but then had a really great spring, had a really great summer, and then just got on a bunch of boards, got a lot of exposure. I think that's all Marcus Smith is missing for Walnut Grove. They got to play tonight as well, so they're going to be a fun team to watch. They punched their ticket to the postseason after a 58-56 win against Cherokee Bluff, and they got to play against Seconder tonight. So I think it's intriguing what they've been able to do, and last year they were region champs. So trying to defend their title, they're in that same region with North Oconee, who we had on earlier. So I think that was super cool for him. No major offers yet, but that definitely could change if he has a good spring and summer and a pretty good playoff run. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then number 9, obviously this is hypothetical, but both teams have to win the semis. That's Pace Academy. They got to beat Woodland, Stockbridge, and then McDonough has to beat Lovett. But I would just say I think that's the game of the weekend between those two. Potentially, if they win, the star power on both sides of the ball, KJ Green, Eric Chatfield from McDonough, Nigel Thomas, Zayden Green, Keenan Gray. They all can score at a high clip. They all play very, very well. And, McDonough took the initial matchup. They won 63-59, and then Pace Academy returned the favor and beat them in their building 79-57. So to be on a neutral setting, I think is pretty cool. And I would just love them teams to go at it one more time, decide who's the region champ. And we all know what happened last year. Pace Academy got the 1 seed. They ended up winning the title under legendary head coach Sharman White. But it'd be kind of cool to see McDonough be able to kind of, upset them and get that 1 seed. I think it would just be intriguing. And obviously, every time they play, it's always a marquee matchup between both of them. I think Coach Thomas is probably one of the most underrated coaches, I think, in the game. And the reason I say that is what he's able to do and kind of, a new group coming in. Last year they were very senior laden, but then his son taking a big step forward this year. Keenan Gray, obviously he had a lot of playing time last year as a junior, but now being pretty much the main scorer, and then having Zayden Green come in and contribute at a high level. All those things are great. So I think that would be an electric matchup between those two. Very, very fun to watch, and hopefully we'll be able to hear about it and see it hopefully this weekend. I think those two would be very, very fun. And then number 10 to close out the show, they got us hyped up. If you guys don't know, they released the trailer for EA Sports NCAA Football 2025 today. Kind of a teaser. The full trailer is supposed to come out in May. I thought it was good. I thought where they started, kind of showing the prestige and the honor and the tradition, starting with the Rose Bowl, having somebody kind of talk over it, talking about tradition of some of the teams, showing Notre Dame, the Michigans of the world, obviously the USCs. Only thing I would say is I think it would have been really top tier if they had just like one game clip. Nothing crazy, but like maybe like a player like I'm trying to think of a great player this year. Maybe like a Travis Hunter, like his epic play he had, the interception week 1, or showing Michigan, winning the national championship. Just like a short clip, I thought would have been super cool of just gameplay, maybe just showing one of those or showing a tradition of Notre Dame, in the game, just far as, with the gameplay clip. I thought that would have been cool as well. But it is here. I know a lot of college fans and high school fans are super, super happy about it. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But that is all I got today. I appreciate you tuning in to another episode of Keeping It Real by Najeh Wilkins, presented by Georgia Construction Careers. Craig will be back tomorrow for a show at noon. Stay tuned for that. I'm sure you're going to have a great guest on. But that's all I got. Hope you guys have a great day, and happy Friday Eve. Peace.